Hey YouTube, this is Wrestling News Park Fan 62. Now you're gonna look at the title of this video and be like, what in the world are you talking about? And this is Vince McMahon versus Triple H running WWE. Now this is my thoughts on both running WWE and who would be better. Now, first with Vince McMahon. He has changed the wrestling industry as a whole. It used to be some sort of like carny style attraction you would find at like pop up carnivals and such. But the thing about it has been over, let's say, the last 10 to 15 years, his version of different things has been not the best. So he has fired people for stupid reasons. He has certain terms that makes you go, okay. And it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, which is the reason why both Raw and SmackDown's viewership has dramatically dropped over the years because people are getting tired of the same old shtick, the same rematches 27 times, and so forth. One of Vince's problems has been his version of what a typical WWE star looks like. So, to put this bluntly, they need to look somebody like a football player or something like that. Now, when you get people in like Johnny Gargano, and then even in NXT right now, people like Axiom and Scripps and all that, I think Vince starts to lose focus on it because I don't think he sees the value in them. Like somebody like a Braun Strowman or a Braun Breaker or somebody like that. And the thing about it is, too, is especially with the women, I I feel like with the women, you need to basically look like you're a supermodel or a Barbie doll. So, and so when you get the women who don't exactly fit that description, so somebody like a former Ruby Ruby Riot and all them, you start to get in. That's where you start getting into the problems because I don't think Vince realizes, everybody is different, so everybody has different taste and stuff like that. And it's just one of those situations where I don't think he realizes a lot of the time, all the different characters and stuff like that. The other problem has been as well is the certain terms that he has banned. Because it seems like the list of terms that gets banned gets longer and longer and longer as the year goes on. First of all, he hates the term wrestling. So it needs to be sports entertainment. So, but when you go outside of WWE, so you go into Impact, you go to AEW, you go to New Japan, you go to the independent scene, they use the term wrestling or wrestler. Um, the next term that Vince hates as well is the term belt, a championship belt. Um, he says a belt is what keeps your pants up. While you go elsewhere, and a lot of the times they will say championship belt a lot of the time. And it's just like, So that's another thing that really gets punched into. Now, the last thing is this is Vince wants to have you have like a certain image, and if you don't really fit that image a lot of the times, he will either not use you as much or whatever. Now with Triple H, he's a lot different, which is why like the old style of NXT was so successful is because you had all these different styles of wrestling coming together. So you had like people from Japan, you had people from the independent scene, you had people from Mexico. So you had all these different styles coming together to basically look, to see what it was like. And then you had all these different characters as well. So you had, like Kevin Owens, you had Sami Zayn, you had Alexa Bliss, you had Bayley, and all these other people coming together to have an interesting story. But when Triple H had his heart problems, fortunately he had to step aside, which is when Vince took charge of NXT, which is what became 2.0. The problem with 2.0 was it was more focused on like college athletes coming right out of college, or with the women in particular in this situation. A lot of them, at least. You had to look like a Barbie doll or somebody like that, which is why people like Mandy Rose was so popular. But the problem, the but it was just both of them have their pros and their cons. But who would I choose to run WWE as a whole? Personally, I like Triple H better just because he gets it. He gets the different styles, he gets the different languages, which is why on Raws and SmackDown, you've been able to see them say the term wrestling. You may be able to say, they were the IWGP champion and all this other stuff, mentioning them from other companies. While with Vince, you could not really, you did not really hear that as much. Also with the announcers, you could tell they have a lot more freedom on what they can say compared to Vince, where basically I shouldn't say he force feed them to say certain things. It was just they cannot say certain words. So, like I said, I would rather have Triple H running it than